At 69, Mary was living alone in a cold apartment in Ohio, wondering who would notice if she died. She was tired. Tired in her body, tired in her mind, and tired of waking up each morning to a life that seemed to have already ended. For 40 years, she had worked on a factory line, assembling refrigerators until the noise damaged her hearing and her joints became painful. Then her husband left her for a woman 20 years younger. He did not say goodbye. He simply packed his things and left Mary alone with an overdue mortgage, an old car that barely worked, and about $1,200 a month to survive on. After housing, insurance, medication, food, electricity, and everything else, almost nothing remained. Some days, she stood in a grocery store doing arithmetic over a package of chicken, deciding whether she could afford it. Other days, she ate beans, pasta, or bread because meat would mean going without something else. Winter was worse. She shoveled snow herself because she could not afford to pay anyone. Afterwards, her hands hurt so badly that holding a spoon became difficult. Her doctor told her she needed warmth, movement, and fresh vegetables. Mary knew he meant well, but advice could not solve poverty. Her children were becoming distant. Her son lived in California with a mortgage and 2 children. Her daughter lived in Texas and sometimes sent $50. The money was difficult. The silence was worse. Mary began sitting by the window, wondering how long her body would lie undiscovered if she died. Then one afternoon, a free newspaper changed everything. She found an article about Americans living in the Philippines. It described a place where a small pension could provide a decent life and where neighbors looked after one another. Mary started researching. For weeks, she read about Filipino communities, shared meals, and elderly people surrounded by neighbors instead of living alone. At 69, she sold her car, furniture, and almost everything she owned. She packed 2 suitcases and flew to Manila. Her children thought she had lost her mind. At the airport, a young Filipino man saw her struggling with her luggage. "Ma'am, help you?" He carried one of her bags, showed her where to go, and refused payment. "Welcome to the Philippines, ma'am." She eventually settled in Cebu, where she rented a small house with a terrace and garden. The owner, Lorna, immediately fed her. "Eat, ma'am, you thin." Mary cried over the food. After years of being treated as though she had become someone else's problem, someone was simply taking care of her. But settling in was not easy. The heat exhausted her, her medication was running low, her body remained weak, and she was still alone in a country she barely understood. Then she collapsed in the street, her groceries scattered across the road. Mary expected people to walk past. Instead, strangers stopped to help. A young man lifted her, a woman gathered her bags, someone brought water. Then Elma, a neighbor and mother of 4, took Mary home. From that day, Elma and her children became part of Mary's life. They brought food, sat with her, taught her local words, and eventually gave her a name she had not heard in years with such affection, Lola Maddie. For the first time, Mary was not simply surviving, she was becoming part of a community. Then her health took a serious turn. Her medication ran out and her heart problems worsened. Elma saw how sick she was and brought the barangay captain, a nurse, and several neighbors. Together, they collected money for Mary's medicine. She tried to repay them. They refused. "You part of barangay now. We take care our own." That was the moment something changed. Mary had spent years believing that having little meant having nothing to offer. Now she saw people with very little giving her what she needed. So she decided to do the same. She began buying extra rice for struggling families, helping Elma with the children, teaching Rose English, and cooking whatever she could afford. At first, only a few people came, then more. Soon, Mary's terrace became a gathering place. People came to eat, talk, laugh, and sometimes simply sit by someone who would listen. For the first time, Mary felt that her life had a purpose. Then a typhoon struck. The storm flooded the area and damaged Elma's home. In the middle of the night, Elma arrived with her children. Mary opened the door. "Come in, this is your home too." They spent the night together on the floor. The next morning, the whole barangay worked together. They repaired roofs, cooked food, carried water, and helped families rebuild. Mary watched them work with almost nothing and still refused to leave anyone behind. That was when she understood the difference between having wealth and being wealthy. After the storm, Mary committed what remained of her pension to feeding the community. The same $1,200 that had barely kept her alive in Ohio now bought sacks of rice, fish, vegetables, and meat. Every day, people came to her terrace. She fed anyone who needed a meal. More than 2 years after arriving in the Philippines, Mary was no longer the frightened woman with 2 suitcases. Children ran toward her, calling Lola Maddie. Women hugged her. Neighbors came to eat, talk, and help. Then a woman named Ellen arrived with 3 children. Her husband had died after an illness the family could not afford to treat. Mary sat them down and fed them. The children ate desperately. Ellen cried. Mary looked at her and remembered the woman she had once been in Ohio. So she told Ellen what Elma had once told her. "You safe here, we take care." Mary's children still lived in America. They rarely visited. Her son once wrote that he was proud of her for making a life in the Philippines. Mary appreciated the words, but she no longer waited for them to come. She had built a family of her own. She was no longer the person waiting for someone to save her. She had become the person others could depend on. Now, every evening, Mary sits on her terrace and watches her neighbors go home after dinner. Children kiss her cheek before running away. Mary still has difficult days. She still thinks about her children, but she is no longer afraid to die alone. Now she knows that when her time comes, she will not be forgotten. The children will remember her as the woman who fed them. She had found a family in the community that taught her she was worth caring for. And after everything she lost, that is enough.